Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This time I'm going to show you the location of all three Alexander Divine Intel locations, as well as how to defeat Alexander in the VR combat simulator. This way you can get the summon for yourself. So check the timestamps for the location of all three of the Divine Intels, as well as the boss fight, and I'll come back with the narration for the boss fight, but you really don't need it for the Divine Intels. Just follow the routes that I take and start at the locations on the map, and you should be fine.
Cloud, just between you and me, I really like Alexander. I mean, who wouldn't? A giant robot! I sometimes contemplate doing something wicked in the hopes I might get to see him up close. Suffice it to say, I await your next exciting discovery with bated breath.
Okay, for the Alexander boss fight, you want to visit Chadley anywhere after you reach Corel. You don't even have to do this in Corel. You can always go to Chadley anywhere in the world, and he will have the same VR missions available. But once you are ready, you want to take Cloud, Aerith, and Yuffie into the fight. That's what I chose. And the reason I made this selection is simply because you need to stay in the air a lot with Alexander, and so having somebody that's able to do that, or more than one party member that's able to do that, will make this considerably easier. So Aerith is mostly just my healer, although she can do some things, so we'll just keep that in mind. You'll notice here when we assess Alexander, it says that it accumulates karma stacks by using certain attacks. The more karma stacks you have on your party members, the more damage his ultimate ability is going to do. If you have Asuna or the cleansing materia equipped and it's leveled up to have the Asuna spell, you want to have that alongside a magnify materia if possible. When Kate Sith joins your party, that is your first opportunity to get a Magnify Materia, so go ahead and just put it on whoever your healer is, or whoever you have the Cleansing Materia on. Link it either on the weapon or the armor, and then you will be able to have Asuna cast on everybody. This way you can get rid of those stacks. But The objective in the fight is to destroy each arm. This will stop Alexander from using certain attacks, but it will then allow him to use other attacks. So it's just sort of a double-edged sword here, but you do want to take care of the arms. This way you can actually start damaging the boss itself. So you'll see here that I'm using Yuffie almost the entire time so far, and I'm just staying in the air. The way I'm doing that is by pressing triangle to throw her shuriken, and then pressing triangle again to retrieve it. I'm pressing square usually about 3 times because on her 4th attack, she slams back to the ground. And then after that 3rd attack in the air, I'm pressing triangle to throw the shuriken, triangle to retrieve the shuriken, and then doing the same thing. And then I'm also mixing in Art of War as well to spend the ATB that you're building. There's no point in not spending ATB as you build it. You never want to just have it sitting on a character, otherwise that is wasted potential damage. Once Alexander's arms are both destroyed, the boss will become pressured, and then you can start building pressure very quickly using focus thrust on Cloud. Later on, you will get a weapon for Aerith that gives her Ray of Judgment. That will also build pressure, although it really builds the multiplier once an enemy is pressured, but it can be used to build pressure as well with Aerith. Really, any ability with Yuffie will deal a decent amount of pressure. She doesn't have any abilities that specifically build pressure, but pretty much everything she does will build it a little bit. Once the boss is fully stunned, you want to unleash everything you have at this point. You want to just expend everything, use any synergy abilities that you have built up, especially if they increase your limit level. That's going to come in handy later on in the fight when we're sort of running up against a bit of a softened rage. So we get the boss down to about 30% here. Aerith is doing work with her wards. Cloud and Yuffie dealt a ton of damage, but once the boss comes out of stagger, the arms will replenish their health, and then unfortunately we have to go again. However, the boss will begin to cast other abilities. So Punitive Sphere, this is an ability where white sort of marks show up on the ground, and then the boss will push its arms into the ground, and those white marks will explode. We now have this new ability where the beams of light will begin rotating around the boss. This is why you want to be using characters that can stay in the air for long periods of time, because without that, you're going to constantly run up against this problem where you're just taking damage over and over and over because of those lines, whereas if you're staying in the air, you don't have to worry about them. Okay, so luckily we haven't built any stacks of Judgment at this point just yet, and we've already crippled an arm. The boss does have a bit of an AoE attack that can start to hit everybody, but if you're not standing around it, you should be fine, so just keep an eye out for that. Punitive Sphere is the ability, again, where he just pushes his arms into the ground. Any white marks on the ground explode, but if you're in the air, you don't have to worry about it. Brumel Form is very effective with Yuffie. I find it a little bit harder to time in Rebirth than it was in Remake. That's just me, though. You can start to see that we now have stacks of Judgment. So from here, we want to heal up because the boss's ultimate attack is coming. When this little mini cutscene plays and you see Divine Judgment, that's when it's going to happen. Luckily, you can pressure the boss out of that, but it will just go right back into it. So if you are able to pressure the boss out of it, do not let up. However, be very, very aware of how many Judgment stacks you have, as well as how much damage you're able to get into the boss before it actually goes off. If you find yourself struggling to deal enough damage to the boss during that portion where he is charging up Divine Judgment, then you want to cleanse all of the stacks of Judgment off of your characters by using Asuna, and then heal them up. Everybody should be able to survive his ultimate ability as long as they do not have any stacks of Judgment, but even one stack of Judgment is enough to buff the damage, to me, about 20-30% it seems, so you got to be very, very careful about cleansing those off. I believe Remedy will also get rid of them, but you really want to use Asuna. This way you're not expending valuable items. But that's it. That's Alexander. It's a fun fight. You kind of learn how to stay in the air throughout most of it, and then once you have a grip on that, you're kind of untouchable. But that's it. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below this video. You can also leave a super thanks by clicking the heart icon below this video. Don't forget to join the community Discord. The link for that is in the description below. As always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.